Are you saying that if I were to be gay, then I'd just be physically weaker and I wouldn't be able to pass that physical test that it's required to get into the
Well,
military?
it means that I meant by they're lowering the standards
For gay people?
to let people in the service just so gay people get in there.
That's not true at
Because
all.
they're trying to be
They,
open-minded.
they wouldn't. They wouldn't need. They don't need to
to.
lower physical standards so gay people could join the military. You could be gay and be physically strong. In fact, I wouldn't see any reason why being gay would imply you're physically weaker. Tell us why you think being gay makes you physically weaker.
Well, because you get in there and you know how men are, and there's gay people, and they have to be in barracks together, and it's just not right. It's not right. I mean, if we got a separate barracks for gay and straight and all this crap.
So,
you know,
wait, so I just want to clarify. So you don't think that gay people should be able to serve in the military? What is going on, Ray? Are you MAGA? Do you support Trump?
yes, sir.
All right, Ray. How do you?
How old am I? I'm old enough to know better and too young to resist. No, I'm 74.
74. Okay. All right. Yeah. Wow. You're a little bit younger than me.
Let me say something to you. You're a very smart kid, and are your parents Democrats?
No, they're both very staunchly conservative.
Why are you against Trump?
Well, I'm against Trump because I think he's very bad for this country. I think he's bad for the globe. And I think that his character is undeserving of any public office or public adoration or respect, which would include the respect required to give him access to the nuclear codes.
You can't see that all those charges by the Democrats were all trumped up against him. They never proved anything really. Because they didn't like him. Because when Trump was elected, they told him, "You'll never be president. You're not president material."
He's not.
He's not a political guy. He's a businessman.
Okay.
And he looks at the country different because we've been getting ripped off by everybody because America gives everything away and don't get nothing back out of it. And that's why our economy's bad now.
Well, if America just gives everything away and doesn't get anything back from it, how come we have the largest economy on Earth by miles? How come we're the richest country on Earth by
We're
years?
we're not number one, and we're close to being bankruptcy.
Really? So if we're close to going bankrupt, then obviously
we owe more money than we owe more money. We don't owe billions, we owe trillions.
So
of
then,
dollars.
then why do you support Donald Trump adding more expenditure, one moment, to our
Here's the
national
thing.
debt with one bill that BBB is going to add $3.8 trillion to our debt, okay? And keep in mind that $3.8 trillion this one bill is going to add to the American debt is more than every dollar that the Biden-Harris administration spent in their 4 years unrelated to COVID spending. They spent $2.2 trillion in non-related COVID expenditure. He's beating that by a factor of near 2 with one bill in his first 150 days in office. Did you get that, Ray?
Yeah, can you hear me? I lost you.
I could hear you.
Well, the thing is, with Musk coming in, you probably don't like him either, but they are finding so much money that mostly Democrats, Republicans ain't all angels, but mostly Democrats have been stealing money and stealing stocks for years and getting by with it. They get this money overseas for all these stupid things. They send it over there for some crazy stuff, some experiment, spending billions of dollars on. So much money's being wasted, and Doge just trying to take that out and get the government back to where the government's not supposed to run the country. The people are supposed to run the country by vote.
Right.
And our system is so screwed up. Now, it's terrible. Right?
Let me add something on here. So as it relates to your claims that Democrats have been stealing money, okay, well that's fraud, that's illegal. There hasn't been a single arrest made or a single indictment pushed and accepted by a judge for a single Democrat in Congress for fraud that has apparently been exposed by the DOJ. So I would reject that claim. Now, as it relates to your second claim, you've been conned. Okay, and I'll explain how you've been conned. But first, I just want to tell you, I don't blame you for this con, okay? Because this has been very deceptive, good propaganda that the Trump administration has been pushing. On this point specifically, I don't blame you, okay? But I think it's worth you hearing me out. As it relates to Doge, cutting all of these billions in expenditure that's completely unnecessary and useless, and it's just not needed and it doesn't matter, okay? Well, guess what? That is pure propaganda. Because although Doge may be cutting a couple billion here, a couple billion there, this is just to try to make the Trump administration out to be this fiscally conservative giant. But in all reality, what this is covering up is Donald Trump's wasteless spending in the trillions just to make life easier for billionaires and multimillionaires in the States. You know, like that big bill I just referenced, costing $3.8 trillion. Well, that's supposed to be tax cuts, right? But it only increases the after-tax income for the top 20% of Americans. So we're spending $3.8 trillion to reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans. How wasteful is that, sir? That's more wasteful than PBS in Iraq. That's more wasteful than studying transgenic mice. That's more wasteful than, I think, anything that you'd be able to name that Doge has cut.
Amen to that. Okay.
Right? So yeah, that's quite a fair point. You got anything else you'd like to add on, Ray?
Well, let me get another point besides the money part.
Okay.
Our country hates each other. We don't have understanding. We used to be back in the day, if you were a Democrat or Republican, you had a couple of differences, but now it's like, if you're a Democrat, you're a MAGA, you're a communist. If you're a Republican, you're a freaking communist. And it's just a bad, hateful attitude. But the reason why is because look at how they're teaching our kids. If you want to be gay, that's your problem. I got gay friends. But we don't owe you any special thing. And there's two sexes, man. We're not going to play your little game to not hurt your feelings that you're a they or a them, and then teach our kids in school. That's all done by the Democrats.
Okay.
Just stopping all that.
Okay.
You agree with all that stuff?
Well, okay. Well, we'll get into my thoughts and my feelings on gay people and how many sexes there are. We could talk about that for sure. But one thing that I want to point out is you're blaming the fact that there's more division in America today on the Democrats, and I unilaterally reject that. And in fact, I'll prove it not with a statement or an argument of my own. I'm gonna prove it by reading out Donald Trump's Memorial Day message from yesterday. Okay, but first I want to ask you, what does Memorial Day represent?
Honor to our servicemen.
Okay, so I'm about to read Donald Trump's Memorial Day statement. You'd expect it to be honoring our dead service members, correct?
Sure.
Okay, well, let me read it to you. Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left mindsets who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country, many of them being criminals and the mentally insane, through an open border that only an incompetent president would approve, and through judges who are on a mission to keep murderers, drug dealers, rapists, gang members, and release prisoners from all over the world in our country so they could rob, murder, and rape again. All protected by these USA-hating judges who suffer from an ideology that is sick and very dangerous for our country. Hopefully, the United States Supreme Court and other good and compassionate judges throughout the land will save us from the decision of these monsters who want our country to go to hell. But fear not, we have made great progress over the last 4 months, and America will soon be safe and great again. Happy Memorial Day, and God bless America. So how does that read as a statement on a day that is supposed to be honoring dead service members from a man that you describe as a non-divisive good leader who wants to bring America together?
Well, the country is supposed to be honoring soldiers, but like our country's not honoring the soldiers now because we've turned everything complete. And our military was so many. They're changing that too because they're letting all these people in there because they want to be in our service, but they can't pay. You have to pass a physical. Man or female, whatever.
That's true. That's true. That's never changed.
Okay, well then women can't. There's a few women that can, but most women can't, and gays can't. Some of them.
Whoa. Okay. Wait.
I don't care if you're gay or what, but it's going totally wrong.
I just need to ask you a question here. So, as it relates to you saying that women can't pass this physical, that's not true. There's many women in the armed forces.
Yes,
and then as it relates to your second claim that let's call gay individuals, not gays. It's a little dehumanizing. Why do you think somebody's sexual orientation changes their ability to pass a physical test?
Well, not necessarily, but it's just a whole thing of being woke, and they're just putting people in there, and there's not a high standard. They've lowered all their standards.
No.
How the physical
no, they haven't. That's not true at all. And where do gay people play into this? So, like for instance, I'm straight. Are you saying that if I were to be gay, then I'd just be physically weaker, and I wouldn't be able to pass that physical test that it's required to get into the military?
No, not 100%. Some gays are pretty tough.
Let's call gay people. Okay, that term "gays" is a very dehumanizing term because that's been used by homophobic straight people forever to kind of just to refer to gay people as something that's almost not even human, right? Okay, we don't refer to straight people as the straights, so let's not refer to gay people as the gays. All right. But that aside, I'm really curious what this claim implies. So you said that a lot of gay people can't pass that physical test. What could that possibly mean? Describe that statement for us.
It means that I meant by they're lowering the standards
for gay people
to let people in the service just so gay people get in there.
That's not true at all.
Because they're trying to be open-minded.
They don't need to lower physical standards so gay people could join the military. You could be gay and be physically strong. In fact, I wouldn't see any reason why being gay would imply you're physically weaker. I don't understand the implication there. But then they're also just simply not lowering physical standards. But tell us why you think being gay makes you physically weaker.
Well, because you get in there and you know how men are, and there's gay people, and they have to be in barracks together, and it's just not right. It's not right. I mean, we got a separate barracks for gay and straight and all this crap.
So I just want to clarify. So you don't think that gay people should be able to serve in the military?
No, I didn't say that. I just said it'd
so
be
then what is this
weird.
about barracks? I'm confused. Or what would you like? Because you're saying that they need to have their own barracks.
They got one style of living.
Would you be scared? Are you saying that like you'd be scared of like being around a gay person?
I wouldn't close both eyes if I wasn't in the corner. But I mean, I don't think most gay people are not that pushy. They would not just jump you for no reason. I'm not saying.
You think that gay people jump straight people? Is that your claim? Try the opposite. Do we know what the Stonewall? You don't even know what that. Listen, man. What the hell is your claim? I'm trying to distinguish. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. And
what I'm saying
I don't
is
have
that
an idea.
They've lowered the standards for the service, but it's not just all the stuff in school.
That's not true. That's simply not true. No, they've not lowered the standards for service.
And they let sexual books that parents try to go read at a parent teachers meeting, and they tell them you can't read that. Well, wait a minute, you're giving
how have we moved from gay people in the military to books in school?
Because it's all the same thing. It's an open policy for gayness and gay people
policy.
going to school and teaching.
So you don't think that gay people should be able to go to school?
No, I didn't say that. They're leading and teaching children to be gay is a good way to live.
Oh, okay. So I'd like
make their own mind.
I'd like to clarify that the only thing that I think children should be taught is that there's nothing wrong with being gay, and that some people have straight parents, some people have gay parents, so we could teach inclusivity. But no, we're not teaching children that they should be gay.
Well, I don't know if I believe all that, but anyway, that's.
So you think that being gay is wrong?
There's just so many problems. That's just part of the problem. You can
I have a
narrow
question.
in on
Do you think that being gay is wrong?
I think it's a bad decision, and I don't. If you believe in God, you can't go to heaven.
It's a decision, really. Well, I don't think that being gay is a choice. I don't think that being gay is a decision, and I could prove it to you.
How's that?
Yeah, could you choose to be sexually attracted to Brad Pitt right now? Can you choose that? Can you make that decision?
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
But I thought you said that it's a decision that can be made, that people choose that. So if it's a choice to be gay, why can't you choose to be gay?
Okay, listen, because certain people have problems when they're young and they change their mind because they don't know how to cope with women. So they turn gay like that. But
Oh,
when
okay.
you open
So
yourself
so
up,
they have problems when they're young and they don't know how to cope with women, so then they become gay. Okay. Well, let me share a couple facts with you. So we've done a lot of studies as it relates to sexual dimorphism, as it relates to difference dependent on your sexual orientation, just as it relates to diversity in the human experience, and how that diversity is caused on the biological and anatomical level. Okay, and there's some distinctions that we see in people dependent on their sexual orientation. For one, gay men have a larger anterior commissure on average compared to straight men. That's a nerve lining between the two hemispheres of your brain. For two, they have differences in the AI and H3 subsection of the hypothalamus, okay, as well as they have different levels of some neurohormones such as FSH. There's also been studies on the genome of straight individuals compared to gay individuals, and what we see in gay individuals that we don't see in straight individuals is an association on the XQ23 chromosome. So please tell me how having bad experiences with women at a young age can change the associations on a chromosomal level in your DNA. Tell me how these experiences can make the nerve lining between the hemispheres of your brains larger. Tell me how these differences can physically change the abstraction of the hypothalamus in a subsection of it called the AI-NEH3. Do you see how the claim, these social factors, or otherwise these quote-unquote choices, have nothing to do with your sexual orientation? And you know what? This is proved in another way, and let me tell it to you. Because forever, maybe you remember this when you were in your 30s or 40s, conversion therapies were very popular, okay? And the reason why they were popular is because people thought what you think now, that it's a choice, it's a conscious decision, and if a person goes to therapy, that choice can be reversed, okay? And we had some massive conversion therapies. And one similarity between all of these conversion therapies, like Exodus International, is that ultimately they were all shut down by their own founders who said they were themselves gay men that never became straight with their own therapies, and they were still gay, and they all shut down their conversion therapies and apologized for their crimes against humanity. Okay, sir, with all due respect, you're stuck in the 70s. Okay, it has been 50 years, and in the last 50 years, we've learned a lot. Okay, but the biggest thing that I think you should learn is to have some damn empathy, and no, not everything that society said when they also said that smoking cigarettes was good for your health is still true today or was ever true in the first place.
are you done?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm done, man. I think it's important that
Like I said, you're a very smart kid, but intellectually, sometimes you get wrong information from people that don't really tell the truth.
Well, so who should I trust? Like the doctors in the 70s that said being gay is caused by a chemical imbalance that has been refuted and disproved incessantly over the last 50 years? Those are the people. I should trust my heart.
Look, it's not against gay. It's not even against the gays. If somebody wants to be gay, I don't have that's their problem. But being a they and a them.
Okay, Ray, I kicked you from your life, man. You went right back to saying the same shit you said when you first joined the stream. Obviously, we were having a very unproductive conversation, so I ended it. We're going to move on to the next guest. Nothing's going to change his mind, I'll tell you that much.